Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Is this movie trash, guys? Like, be real. Is this movie garbage? Well, only one way to find out. Here we go. Avatar 2, The Way of Water is a sequel to 2009's Avatar, directed by James Cameron, aka The GOAT. The GOAT.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I mean, this guy doesn't miss. It's crazy. He releases a movie every 10 years or so, and every time he does, it's usually a banger. I mean, his resume is just fucking ridiculous. It's crazy. So this movie takes place, I want to say, about 15 years after the first movie. Neytiri and Jake, they've settled down. Everything's calm and peaceful. They start a family. And I gotta say, guys, that is what this movie's all about. This movie, like, not to be like Fast and Furious type family, but this movie is actually about family. They have probably the coolest family dynamic and setup I've seen in film in a very long time. This reminds me of those old school family movies where you got a whole family. I've said family so many times already, but it's nice to see this again. You know, I mean, you talk about like old movies like E.T., Adventures of Babysitting, Jeep About a Dozen, these movies that had like a younger brother, an older brother, a middle brother, a sister, things like that, that people get to bounce off each other. You got different personalities, different characters and stuff like that with different motivations and different goals. And it's just really awesome to see that again in 2022, but with a spectacle of just amazing visuals, amazing story, amazing action and acting, and just all of that put together into one. It's just awesome to see. So let's go down the list, okay? Let's pinpoint and identify the characters and who they are and what they bring to the table, and kind of just go from there, because this movie does evolve around them, really. I mean, if the first movie revolved around Pandora, this one revolves around the family that was created on Pandora. So first things first, you got Naryam. He's the oldest of the bunch. He's the older brother, the spitting image of his father, essentially. He's the one that when mom and dad aren't around, he's in charge. And when it comes down to defending the family, he's next up in line to be the defender, the leader, and so forth. My opinion, my favorite character is him. He is just, every time he's on screen, he demands so much attention. He just has this energy, this aura to him that I don't know how to describe it. I'm the little brother in my family. And, you know, when I was younger, I looked up to my older brothers because they just seemed so badass, you know? They could kick everybody's ass that picked on me, and they could just stand up for me and shit like that. And that's just the vibe I got from him. Just that classic older brother, and I enjoyed it a lot. He doesn't really say much, but I feel like he doesn't really have to. He's just one of those characters that, you know, he's about that action. So whatever he needs to be said, he's just going to do. Those times he does have to step up, he just steps up, and he's going to tell you once, you know, back off. If you don't back off, he's going to fuck you up. It's that simple. I mean, you got to jump the guy. You have to jump this man. He's just too badass. Just that simple. And then right under him, the oldest girl, Kitty. She's the hippie of the group. You know, she's the tree hugger. She's the one that is very, very close with Pandora. She's very close with nature. She literally lives with nature inside of her. Like, she has a connection that everybody else has, but hers is like turned all the way up to 11. So she kind of seems like an outcast in some ways, in some scenes, because of her connection to Pandora and the Great Mother, which I think is really awesome. The film does some really cool things with her, and they take her character in certain directions that I did not see coming. I tried my hardest to predict what they were trying to do with her character, and by the end of the film, I said to myself, I didn't see this coming, and it was just really awesome to see. And then right under her, okay, you've got Loak. He is the younger brother. He's the middle child, I guess you could say. He's the troublemaker, pretty much. He's the one that really moves this plot forward and moves the scenes and moves the characters and really is the focal point of this film. And that's not to say anything bad. I really enjoyed his character, and I genuinely love what they did with his character. His arc is just very compelling to me. He starts the film off really as this, like I said, this troublemaker, you know? I mean, we've all been there. We've all been a kid that doesn't listen to his parents, always drags his friends or his brothers and sisters into trouble, and just wants to go out and be adventurous and prove himself. That's another thing. his main thing is he wants to prove that he's a man. He's just as good as Nariyam, his older brother, who is basically the perfect child, I guess you could say. He's trying to prove himself and just find himself in this world, and he's brought into this new place where he has to learn everything again, and he's an outsider, and he has to kind of deal with that and deal with what he's going through mentally. And it really is awesome to see that with the CGI and with the technology that we have, you're able to see a teenage boy go through basically puberty. I mean, you're able to see him go through these emotions, the anxiety, the depression, the isolation, all of those emotions this character evokes through his facial expressions, his mannerisms, and his actions. And it was just really awesome to fucking see, man. It was just fucking great. Like, I'm just truly amazed, and I just think that we should not take what James Cameron did with this film for granted. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff is going to go over people's heads, and they're not going to get it. But I'll get to that later. And then right under him, you've got probably the star of the movie as far as stealing people's hearts. You've got little baby Took. Took is the little sister of the bunch. She's the baby. I mean, she's the one that you fuck with her, you're fucked. It's just that simple. You fuck with Took, you fuck with Pandora. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's armies ready to die for her. Like, she's just that character. She's awesome. And Took, being the youngest, she's maybe around 10 years old, 11 years old. I don't really know. I'm trying to pin it down. But comparing her to other characters, I'd say she's around that one, because she's not a complete baby. You know, she can still maneuver and get shit done and be badass when she needs to be badass and get out of trouble when she needs to get out of trouble. And her character is really the fun part of the film, really. She's just, I don't know, every time she's on scene and smiles, it makes me smile. You know, she's the baby. And then, of course, you got Jake Sully and Neytiri coming back from their first film that they spent together. And they're the same characters, but they're in different situations. And I really love how they break down their roles now, because their roles have changed. You know, I was expecting Jake to have to be this leader who doesn't pay attention to his kids and just cares about protecting their village and stuff like that. And I was pleasantly surprised with the direction that they went and the direction that they took his character as this father that does not care about anything besides keeping his family safe, and he'll do anything, he'll die to protect his kids. And I just love the way they did that, because it's been done before. Let's be honest. The whole father role has been done before, but the way it's done here, it's just very nuanced and it's very different, and it's different enough and creative enough that it's refreshing. And then, of course, Neytiri. I love what they did with Neytiri in this movie. I think the biggest complaint that you're probably going to see about this movie is it doesn't have enough Neytiri. We fell in love with her in the first film. She was, like, hands down, she was the standout in the first film. In this movie, you could say she doesn't have a lot to do, but in my opinion, I think that's perfect. Now, that's not to say that she doesn't have a moment to be badass. I mean, like I said, she's a mom. And any of my moms out there that know this, you fuck with her kids, she's gonna fuck you up. Like, she literally turns into a demon. A demon. Like a stone cold demon straight out of hell when you fuck with her kids. Like, it's crazy. And I love how she got a scene where she just got to turn on that super mom mode. Like, she just went super mom, and I fucking loved it, and it was just awesome. And Zoe Saldana, she gave an amazing performance when she was pissed off and ready to fucking just wreck shit and just go straight scorched earth. Like, you felt that shit, man. And that performance is just, Zoe Saldana is a goddamn amazing actress. She's just amazing. Definitely stole the show when she had a chance to actually do something and get involved and be that character and tap into that character she was in the first film. It was just fucking awesome. You don't fuck with her kids, because if you do, she's gonna turn that switch on. And when she turns that switch on, you, your cousin, your mom, your friends, your co-workers, your company, everybody's fucked. Everyone's screwed, okay? You don't fuck with Neytiri's kids. It's just that simple. You can fuck with her, okay, all you want. You can call her every name in the book. But you touch one of her kids, that's your ass. It's just that simple. But you can still tell that she's struggling with the fact that she does want to be a warrior, and that she doesn't want to let go of that fact that she is, in her heart, a stone cold killer and just a beast. But she has to level herself down and play her role in the family. I think that's just how families are, you know? Everybody has to learn their role when you're in a family. You know, you have to understand that you're not the oldest kid, or you're not the youngest kid. You either have responsibility over your siblings and you have to watch over them and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, or you gotta meet the standard of the oldest kid. And I love the dynamic that they just had throughout the entire movie, and that was just fucking great, okay? And then while we're on characters, I want to say this movie really made me feel something for a character that I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character in this movie who let's just say he's not a human. Not a human. He's not a Na'vi. He's an animal. And doesn't have any speaking lines. You know, he makes a couple of sounds here and there, but that's the only way that they can communicate. But they take time to flesh out and develop an animal. An animal. More than they take time to flesh out these superheroes and these other characters in these TV shows and movies that they're putting out today. There's more development in a fucking whale in a movie that's 13 years apart from the first movie. They put more time and effort into a whale than Marvel has put into their actual characters in their entirety. It's crazy the amount of detail and character growth and arc and emotion that was displayed from this animal. It's just crazy. It's amazing, and it's a testament to how good of a director and creator that James Cameron is, and it was just awesome to fucking see. Like, there's a scene in the movie where this whale, right, he gets into a situation where he has to make a choice, okay? He can either run away, okay, and get away, or he can stay and fight and win a battle or something like that, right? And instead of it just being one of those, like, oh, he looks over to the left at his friends or whatever and looks over to the distance to get away and then makes a choice. No. They show him trying to beat himself up to get ready to go in and get the bravery and get the courage to go do it. Like, he's literally banging his head against a wall like, okay, bro, we got to get ready. We got to get ready. Boom. He goes and does what he has to do. And it was just awesome to fucking see that amount of emotion and character from a fucking animal. It was just fucking awesome. The visual effects, way better than the first movie. Hands down, the best thing that's ever been put to screen. There's nothing that looks better than this movie. This movie is the greatest looking film of all time. It's just hands down. Until the next one comes out, I don't see anything beating this movie. It makes Marvel movies and DC movies look like fucking PS1 games. Like, it's crazy, honestly. The amount of detail and textures and oh my god, it's crazy. You know, it sucks. It really sucks that the world is so bland and boring nowadays that you watch a movie like this and you escape for 3 hours and you just come back to reality and you're just like, Earth is really mid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a mid species. We don't really have much here, you know? I don't know, man. It's just fucking weird. But all in all, guys, to keep this thing short and not give away too much, okay? I'm going to say this movie is fucking amazing. It's beautiful. It's an amazing film. And I can't stress this enough, guys, okay? If you don't like this movie or you just don't want to like this movie, don't ruin it for everybody else. Don't tell somebody they're stupid for liking this movie or judge people for liking this movie, because at the end of the day, movies are meant to do one thing, and that's to awaken that kid inside of us. That kid that lets go of everything outside of him and just or her and just zones in and locks into this spectacle and just forgets about reality for a little bit and just gets absorbed and escapes, really. That's what this movie is all about, is just escaping, you know? The experience of this movie is to escape reality and live in a world for 3 hours where you just get to be free and enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about, you know? And I think everybody's going to have a good time watching this movie. And if for some reason you don't like this movie, maybe something went over your head that you didn't get and you let it ruin the experience for you, I don't know. I'm not out here with you guys, but all I can say is just let that kid inside of you be free again. That's what this movie's going to do for you. And the only way you can stop that from happening is shutting yourself off to the experience and just being hard-headed. Just let it go. Let it happen. It's going to happen. I guarantee you. Whether it's the first 10 minutes or the first hour or the second hour, that kid is going to come out and you're going to say, okay, this is fucking awesome. But yeah, guys, check it out. I hope you guys enjoy the movie, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please like and subscribe for more content and hit that bell icon for notifications. That way you get notified when I post my next video. Thank you guys so much. Take care.